Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It's actually very good to see every single one of you again. I think I see a couple of new faces, but majority are still the same. So it's an honor. It's a pleasure to be here. No, alhamdulillah, as long as you can be with us, it's a good thing. We first and foremost, I personally want to thank all of Community Services and for you guys to have us back here. So there's two things that, two roles that I'm playing today. As you see, I'm here with Brother Mahmoud. We have a camera with us. Number one is ShuraTV. It's a new project that has been launched by Islamic Shura Council of Southern California. And the idea behind it was, well, what are Muslims doing today here in America, but in Southern California? So everybody does great work. All of Community Services does an amazing job here working with the seniors. But how much visibility do others get? We have no idea. To a certain limit we know, but we can always expand it. So the idea came about, we need to expand our work here in SoCal communities, especially for those Muslims that can share their services with non-Muslims and the Muslim community all around. So that's number one. So now why are we here, Dr. Azhar and I? So I work at Genesis Medical Center with him, and I lead the counseling department. So usually we talk about health. When we hear there's a doctor with us, we always talk about health. Do we ever discuss and talk about the importance of mental health? So a couple of years before, I used to work for an adult day health center called Graceful Senescence. It was a geriatric, and it was an adult day health center where my job was to assess seniors. And what I did was to ensure that our seniors were mentally and physically sustainable in terms of their mental health was sustaining throughout the years. Because what ends up happening as we get older? What happens to our physical and our mental health? Let's stick with our mental health. What happens? You lose our memory, right? Yeah, we lose our memory. That's what happens, right? And I think that's one of the most frightening things, I'm assuming, that any person can have or experience is by losing your own memory. So the way we captured that, there was two things that I used to do. Number one, to understand the importance of how to navigate and capture an individual's memory loss by using a scale called the MMSQ, the Mental Health Questionnaire, Status Questionnaire. So what that did was that allowed me and other professionals to help our seniors in understanding where their mental capacity would be for the next 6 months to a year. So by doing that, we would understand number one, how oriented they were. To what things, there are a couple of things that we wanted to make sure they were oriented to person, so they knew who their family members were. Place, where are they at the moment? Do we know where we are? Time, what time is it? In terms of what year are we in? And then lastly is objects. By showing them pens, watches, to ensure that they are oriented and knowing, if they're fully still capable of understanding things. And then what else we did there was to understand the importance of long-term deficits, memory deficit, and also their short-term memory deficits. And that's very important because as we age, you start losing memory. And one of the greatest things that has happened there, and then what I'm seeing here is that, and you guys are doing it, is in order to keep yourself sustaining, your mental and your health, physical health, is to practice. Practice what? By doing Tai Chi classes, yoga classes. Having a socialization class is key, especially when it comes to the men. When I used to be at the Adult Day Health Center, and research also shows that when it comes to socialization and social isolation, it is the number one challenge among seniors in America. And once you are socially isolated, you have a higher likelihood of being depressed. And then when you get depressed, so our second assessment is what we call the depression scale. It's the PHQ-9 that we use in our clinic. And what that does is that helps us assess individuals to see if they have any form of depression. We have to find out if you are enjoying your time outside of the house. Are you happy? in your current stage of time in life, are you actually happy with yourself? Happy with your accomplishments? Do you have hope for the future? So these are questions we constantly ask. Do you have crying spells? There's times where people, they cry often, on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. These are important questions for us to ask, and these are the two assessments that we conduct at Genesis Medical Center to ensure that our seniors are well put and to make sure that their mental health is either sustained or it elevates. And the other thing I wanted to discuss about was the importance of socialization and why that's important. The more you socialize, there's more blood flow in the brain. And then when there's more blood flow in the brain, you're exercising the brain. And these are simple tasks. Can somebody tell me what can you do to strengthen your muscle memory?
Laugh.
You can laugh, yes.
Laugh.
Yeah, laughing is good for the health. What else?
Puzzle.
Was it?
Puzzle.
Puzzles, yes. Puzzles are very good. If you can do puzzles, I remember I used to play dominoes every day. Dominoes was the perfect game. What is it? Sudoku, yes, Sudoku. Chess.
Tetris.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Tetris.
Tetris, yes. So these are good games. She's like, I hear complaints already. No complaint. So anything that helps the memory, like us laughing, engaging in conversations, and for you to be able to think. If you are waking up in the morning and you're reading, that's something that's beneficial. That's very helpful. Anything that keeps the mind moving, constantly do that. Because research shows that for an individual to have a long, sustainable, and a healthy life, and also have control over their own mental health or mind, is to keep adding on tasks to it. One of the things that ends up happening as we get older is we hit retirement. Now, the goal is, what are we doing aside from even coming to a place like this, all of community services, right? What are we doing when we're inside the house? Are we active? Are we taking care of chores? Are we going out and are we volunteering with different communities? Are we seeing other individuals in the community? All of these things are key, essential, positive stimulators that will help you and will help you to have a sustainable and a healthier life. Okay?